Hello, my name is Erika Younan, and I'm a student at the Polytechnic University of Turin, and I will be presenting today my literature review on extended urbanization. As we know, urbanization dynamics are evolving, as extended urbanization challenges traditional notions of urban boundaries and expands the understanding of urbanization beyond traditional city limits. In this literature review, I will be focusing specifically on how does extended urbanization change our understanding of cities, transitioning from a singular urban center to this emergence of diverse urban nodes within metropolitan areas. The keywords are mainly, obviously, extended urbanization, planetary urbanization, the processes of implosion, explosion, disjunct fragments, post-suburbanization, and polycentric metropolises. This literature review will follow this logic. First, we'll get into extended urbanization and the theoretical framework surrounding this concept. Then we'll dive into the rise of diverse urban nodes and their impacts. And finally, we'll get into the rethinking of cities in this era of extended urbanization and suburban studies. To set the theoretical framework, we start first by explaining what extended urbanization refers to. Extended urbanization refers to this expansion of urban processes beyond the traditional city boundaries, and it recognizes that urbanization is not confined to specific urban centers, but extends into surrounding regions, rural areas, and even remote locations. This concept is interconnected and complementary to the concept of planetary urbanization, that considers the entire planet as a site of urbanization. Planetary urbanization provides this broader context within which we can set extended urbanization. Neil Brenner's concept of planetary urbanization redefines urbanization as a global interconnected process that transcends traditional boundaries of individual cities and regions. It highlights the socio-spatial relations that support urbanization, emphasizing the ways in which urban processes are all intertwined with social, economic, and political forces on a global scale. Henri Lefebvre's input on planetary urbanization provides the foundation that influenced Brenner's conceptualization of it. Lefebvre's notion of complete urbanization of the world and the implosion-explosion dynamics laid the groundwork for understanding the urbanization as a global and all-encompassing process for Neil Brenner. Roger Keil contributed to this discourse by introducing the concept of disjunct fragments, highlighting the fragmented and decentralized nature of modern urban areas. The idea of disjunct fragments suggests that urban development is characterized by disconnected and fragmented elements that do not necessarily have a direct connection back to a central core. These fragments create complex and diverse contemporary urban and suburban environments. Keil's exploration of disjunct fragments aligns also with Henri Lefebvre's notion of the urban as this assemblage of various spatial formations that come together to form the contemporary city. The disjunct fragments represent these diverse components of urban life that include economically interdependent neighborhoods, infrastructures, flows, and organizational arrangements that exist both within and beyond the traditional city center. With Brenner and Schmid, they explain three mutually consecutive moments of planetary urbanization that are concentrated urbanization, extended urbanization, and differential urbanization. Concentrated urbanization relates specifically to the agglomeration processes, where cities are dense and spatially bounded nodes of human activities, aligning with Henri Lefebvre's notion of implosion, that refers to this intensification of the urban function within the city center. For extended urbanization, it's about how the city's influence goes beyond the center, connecting to Lefebvre's explosion that symbolizes this outward expansion of the city beyond the physical boundaries. and it encompasses suburbs, peri-urban nodes, and interconnected region. And finally, differential urbanization that's based upon the perpetual drive to restructure socio-spatial organizations within the metropolitan agglomerations, but it also occurs across borders, a broader landscape of extended urbanization. Additionally, in the works of Ruddick, Su, and partners, they add theoretical and methodological depth to the literature as they take a critical stance towards the existing approach to urban theory. And they argue that an overemphasis on epistemology limits the possibilities of producing a comprehensive urban theory for our time. Instead, they propose a more comprehensive framework that takes into account social ontology, differences, and struggles of the everyday. On the other hand, Ananya Roy argues that extended urbanization is fundamentally changing 21st century cities. Traditional theories built for singular bounded urban centers are no longer sufficient. Contemporary metropolises encompass peri-urban areas, informal settlements, and diverse spatial forms, forming complex planetary urban regions. Roy emphasizes the need for new theoretical frameworks to capture the complexities, informality, and the power dynamics of this extended urbanization she's talking about. Her work criticizes limitations of past models, and she advocates for incorporating perspectives from the global south, because these perspectives from regions experiencing rapid urbanization outside this traditional Western context can enrich our understanding of the evolving urban landscapes. As she says, and I quote, that the dominant theorizations of global city regions are rooted in the Euro-American experience and thus are unable to analyze multiple forms of metropolitan modernities. In our second chapter, where we dive into the rise of diverse urban nodes and their impacts, we start with Keil's emphasis on the role of global suburbanism within extended urbanization, where these are suburban nodes that are not just serving the local cities, but that are integrated into global economic networks. This challenges traditional understandings of suburbia as purely residential and disconnected from global forces, and also raises questions about how these globalized nodes actually impact local communities and identities. Furthermore, extended urbanization breaks down the traditional model of a single dominant urban center surrounded by homogeneous suburbs. Instead, it fosters the emergence of polycentric regions with multiple urban nodes, each with their own economic focus, infrastructure, and cultural identity. This challenges the idea of the singular city and necessitates studying urban regions as interconnected systems. But as urban influence extends beyond traditional boundaries, the division between the urban and the rural is becoming increasingly blurred, creating in-between spaces with mixed characteristics and challenging traditional planning approaches, requiring new spatial and administrative frameworks. And with this rise of multiple urban nodes and blurred boundaries, the traditional sense of place and identity that are usually associated with a singular city center weakens, leading to rootlessness and fragmentation for the individuals and communities there. And uneven developments across diverse urban nodes, leading eventually to spatial inequalities. Soja refers to this new model as the post-metropolis era. Similarly to Keil and Soja's works, we find in Monte-Mór and Castriota's works the challenges that are associated with diverse urban nodes, but that are presented along opportunities too. And this is in terms of connectivity, inequality, and governance. All three of them having opportunities like the fact that diverse urban nodes can connect people and create vibrant regional networks that can boost economic, social, and cultural interaction, as well as offering spaces for inclusivity, accommodating different socioeconomic groups, and fostering innovation, and allowing experimentation with new governance models, empowering the local communities, and enhancing responsiveness. But on the other hand, the challenges that come with it, that are building these seamless new connections demands robust infrastructures, transportation, and digital networks, which further widen the inequalities issue. And the most probable unequal distribution of resources, services, and opportunities will still exist. And this will also create social disparities in the fields of education, healthcare, and employment. And the fact that they'll have to coordinate governance across these nodes, and it's a complex process with these fragmented policies and conflicting interests and power imbalances, will eventually hinder effective regional planning and management overall. Additionally to this, De Vidovich studies suburbs within extended urbanization, focusing on diverse urban nodes beyond traditional centers to challenge centralized views. He criticizes the urban age concept for neglecting these intricate suburban patterns that advocates for more nuanced frameworks. Building on theories like the planetary urbanization of Brenner and Schmid and the post-metropolis of Soja, he seeks to understand how different contexts shape the emergence of these urban nodes, as his works contributes to a more comprehensive understanding of contemporary urban landscapes beyond the center-periphery models. Khatam and Haas disrupt conventional understandings of extended urbanization. They criticize the simplistic notion of the city as a neutral entity, arguing that it legitimizes specific political agendas. Instead, they highlight the role of social movements and political ideologies in shaping urban landscapes. Looking beyond the capitalist narratives, they examine differential urbanization through contrasting cases like Iran's City of Revolution and Palestine's Rawabi. These examples showcase how diverse political contexts influence urban models, as they further criticize the planetary urbanization thesis for overlooking these nuances, and argue that examining how inherited spatial configuration interacts with specific political regimes is crucial actually for understanding the diverse urban experiences. And so in their work, they invite us to move beyond the standardized categories and consider also the political, historical, and spatial complexities that actually shape our evolving cities. In conclusion, this literature review explored the multifaceted impact of extended urbanization on our understanding of cities. The key findings show a complex shift away from singular bounded metropolises towards diverse, interconnected urban regions with blurred boundaries and fragmented identities. And understanding this transformation necessitates first moving beyond the traditional urban theory. So frameworks like Brenner and Schmid's moment of urbanization and Soja's post-metropolis offer valuable starting points, but they require further adaptation to capture the specificities and complexities of extended regions, recognizing the diversity of urban nodes with studies by Keil, Monte-Mór, and Castriota, and Soja, highlights the emergence of diverse nodes within these regions, each with unique characteristics to them, challenges and opportunities. And finally, rethinking beyond the standardized narrative of extended urbanization to properly understand the cities. With Khatam and Haas' work and De Vidovich, as well as Ananya Roy's works, they highlight the importance of considering context and specificity to have more nuanced and inclusive approaches. And to end this presentation with an opening question to the future, we can ask ourselves about the long-term impacts of extended urbanization and how will these evolving urban landscape impact social cohesion, economic development, and environmental sustainability in the long run. Thank you for watching, and bye.